So already we have learned how to find the correlations, how to find it. We have already learned these things. But the question that comes into our mind now, how to use these correlations in real world, in real world data, how to use these things. So let's see step by step. So already we have learned there have the three kinds of correlations thing. The first technique that we have seen, the covariance. Then there have some drawbacks of the covariance, and after improvement we have find the Pearson correlations coefficient. And also there have some drawbacks. By developing these things we have built the Spearman rank correlation coefficient. These things are actually we have seen these three kind of techniques to find the correlations. Okay. And we have to always remember that the correlations is not does not mean, it does not mean they have the causations, not causations. That thing we have to always remember. Does not mean it's have the causations. Okay, so let's see that. Let's discuss through the example how these things are actually usable on real world. Suppose let's first take an example. The questions that the thing that we want to get the answer is salary related with the square footage of our home. Each is the salary, each our salary, is our salary correlated. Is our salary correlated with square footage of our home? Is this thing are happen for our? So if you find some real estate brokers, so if you just visit some real estate brokers, then after getting some information on that, they will give you some form to fill up this form, and they want to know some informations from you. So if you go to the retail, the real estate broker, then you will see they have give some from you. They have some informations of that form that want to know, and they have one column on that form that they want to know about your salary. They want to know your salary, and on the basis of the salary they suggest they recommend the home that you want to buy. Means they already know the relationships between the salary and the square footage of the home. Means from a previous data they have known that if you have the salary that you got, that the salary, your salary is depend on what kind of home you are actually want to buy. They already know these things from the previous data. So on that situations, the correlations concepts are come into the picture to get these kind of answers. So the real estate brokerage, the real estate brokerage are already know these things, already know the correlations, the salary and the footage, the correlations between the salary and the square footage of the, and according to your salary they suggest the home that you want to buy. Okay, that's the first kind of application. That's the one kind of application. Now let's take the second kind of examples. That suppose let's take another example. So now the questions that is the number of year of educations are correlated to our income. That the second questions that we want to get its answer. Is the number of years, is the number of year of education, number of year of education correlated with our income? That's the second questions that want to find the answer of that question. Okay, now let's see. So if you are a preschool, if you are a preschool students, then in generally in primary you study 2 years. After that you study 10 year. If you 10th pass students, so total 12 year you have engaged. If you passed 12 first pre-primary, you studied 2 years, and after that you will study 12 years. So total you will study and that year 14 years. Okay, if you are a college first students, mean if you are undergrad students, preschool 2 years, 12 years up to 12, and after college undergrad it's 4 years. Okay, so it's total how much time, how much years you have spent here. So 16 plus 20, it means 14 plus 18 years you have spent here. If you are suppose you are doing the master's degree, then how much years you have spent? 2 plus 12 plus 4 plus additionally 2 years for master degree, you will spend 20 years. And if you are doing the PhD, suppose let's take you are doing the PhD, so 12 plus 4 plus masters, and for PhD it takes about average 4 years. It's depend on the subject to subjects, how much your research article, it's how much you spent your research. So it's depend, suppose let's take in average it's the 4 year. So how much here? 24 year. So this is the number of years of educations, number of year of education that you have spent. Now this thing, the number of year of the educations are related to our income. So if you are suppose let's take you are doing the job in a educational ministry or labor ministry, you are doing the job on that department of our government. So that kind of relations you are needed to know, because on your city you know the educations of the every populations in your city or in your country. If you are doing the job, if you are doing a job on a education ministry, if you are doing the job on our in the education ministry or labor ministry, simply the labor ministry, if you are doing on that department, then these kind of relationships you have to know to give some informations of our populations, how much educated of our populations is, and what kind of and how much income of our populations is. So so these kind of, in such situations, these kind of relations are applicable, really applicable. Means if you just find in general, if you use the common sense, if you increase your educations, the number of incomes in general, not always true. If you just increase your number of educations, then in general your income are increased. That's the thing. So you have to know this kind of correlations in such. This is the one kind of applications. Now let's take the another kind of applications on the correlations. Suppose in e-commerce website, suppose let's take Amazon or Flipkart. Let's take Amazon or Flipkart. In the such kind of e-commerce website, that's the important thing, is that they are interested to find the user that spent the time in 24 hours in their website. They are want to get the answer, the users that spent their time spent in 24 hours, in whole 24 hours, the time spent for users in their website, that is mean that's are related to the money spent in the next 24 hour. Means if a users are spent how much time in a 24 hours in a day, means in a day, suppose a users are spent 5 hours in a day, that things are depend on the how much money they have spent on that website. So that kind of answer are want either very interesting, that kind of answer are natural in the e-commerce website. Because of that, they can build their website, they have designed their website, so the users are more involved in that website for their business development. Money spent. So money spent, it is dependent on the money spent in the next 24 hours. In the next 24 hours. So that kind of relationships, if in general we have seen that the users they that have spent their more time in that website, in general that have seen that the money that have spent in that website are increased. So these are the related things. So these kind of things we have in generally are occurred. Suppose let's take you are a user on Amazon and you want to buy that a particular thing on that site, on that website. So we will search the every details of that thing, of that particular thing. What is its descriptions, from where it is, what is the warranty, what kind of comment public are given, everything you have checked. And after that you will spend that money on that particular product. That means what? You will spend much more time on the particular page, on the particular website. After that you will spend the money on that website. So this kind of relations that are very useful in e-commerce, world of e-commerce. Okay, you will, I think you will and got the concept, got the idea how the correlations things are actually workable on the real world. Okay, now let's discuss another examples, another kind of applications of the correlations. Suppose let's take in a in the same e-commerce world, or suppose let's take number of unique visitors in a day. Means I am talking about, suppose let's take in a website, e-commerce website, suppose let's take Amazon, I'm talking about Amazon. And in the Amazon website, the number of unique visitors in a day they want to find, it's things that depend on the number of sales on that day. Okay, the number of unique visitors in a day, that things are correlated to the money, the number of sales in that day, sales in that day. That things they are, these things are related or not, they want to find the answer. So if these two things are related, they build their websites as like that. The most of the unique visitors come on their websites, and also they will for because of this kind of relations, because they know already this kind of relations. If the number of visitors in a day are increased, then the number of sales on the particular day are increased. Because of that, they will give the great big billion day, they will give the prime day. On that day they will give the huge amount of discount on a particular product, on the products. Because of that, because if they give the discount on that product, and there the number of visitors come onto their websites, and if there have 10 visitors come, or if there have 100 visitors comes, at least 2 or 3 are buy their product, because only of that reasons, because they know the correlations of these two kind of things. Because of these correlations, they will build their strategy like that. So these kind of things are very important to know, to give such kind of decisions, to take such kind of decisions in our real world. So I think from this lecture you got some idea how these correlations are useful in real world to build some decisions, to take some to take some important decisions of our company or of our organizations. I think you got these things. Okay, in the next lecture in a next lecture we will see the how much confidence of our correlations. We know the relations, correlations between the two variables. If we know the correlations, then how much confidence of that relations, we will see this kind of thing on the next lectures. But before ending these lectures, I am going to take another examples that's the very important. Okay, so let's take in medicines. In medicines, the that we are want to find the answer, the number of doses of of a medicine. The doses of a medicines are suppose, let's take it will be better if we write these things. So the doses of a medicine are related, these doses of the medicines are related to the reduce the blood sugar. Suppose, let's take, I am talking about the medicines of the blood sugar for a diabetic patient. Okay, means I'm talking about the insulin, the doses of the insulins to reduction in blood sugar. Reduction in blood sugar, that's we want to find its answer. Suppose let's take it, they are in a company, they are in our market, they are have a new company, and they are built a new medicines on the blood sugar, and they want to find the answer, such kind of relations between the dosage of the medicines and the blood, and relations between the blood sugars, and how much doses are actually needed to reduction. Suppose they are have data, they are have some data. If we put the 1 mg of the dosage, 1 mg of the doses, then some kind of reductions of the blood sugar is x. Let's take, if you put the 2 mg of doses, then some kind of reductions they are have for y. If we put some kind of 3 mg of doses, there are some reductions of that blood sugar z. And on the basis of that thing, if there is this kind of data they have, they can easily find the correlations between them, and according to these correlations they will develop their medicines, and what kind of development they have need, and it gives some advantage of the medicines from the previous medicine, then their sale will be increased on the particular field. I think you got the idea how this, if we doses increases, then the reductions of the blood sugar are increases. That things are very important to know to build the new medicine, and how much doses they have to increase, and how the product development in the research and development sector in every company, these kind of things are very important to know what kind of relations of two variables are. I think you got the idea how these correlations are actually useful in the real world, in the real data. And in next lectures we will see these things and in more details. After correlation, if you find the correlations on two data, then how much confident on the particular data, how much confident about the correlations, we will see these things in the next lecture.